Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Legends Arceus. We now have our new base camp, which is a tent in the woods. Yay.
Huzzah.
At least you have my back, tent in the woods.
Oh.
Well, you know what they say, in order to stab someone in the back, you must first get behind them.
Well, at least it's just one tent that you're carrying everywhere. And a table with teacups, apparently. Hello.
Who is this character supposed to be? Or is this just this is like his grandma, right? So like this is just
clearly she's an avatar of Jurgle, the Lord of the End of Everything. Okay. There's no other possible answer.
I'm glad we straightened that out.
I also don't know who that is.
I didn't expect you to. But
wise guy. Well, I'm gonna learn about it right now.
It's a Baldur's 3 joke. It's a Baldur's Gate 3 joke, yeah. But it's also a Baldur's Gate 3 joke that you would only get if you also are into Forgotten Realms lore. So, yeah, I'm not gonna explain it. I do like the like semi-permanent sort of. Is this the tent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a semi-permanent tent that you'd build for like a tent village rather than for camping. Okay.
So we need to get the red chain to help clear the skies. So that's where Cyrus got the idea, because we did it in the past. Ooh.
This woman's putting me in the mind of like the rich and classy woman from across the sea that you'll see in a game like Way of the Samurai and whatnot. Games set in that time period of Japanese history, where there was some European influence, but
Well, I know that Japan very famously like closed its doors to outside nations for a good couple hundred years. And so any like sort of Western person being on Japanese soil was very, very rare for a long time. And I think it was the 1800s where they lifted it. I'm trying to remember from Greatest Attorney or that's a plot point. But
edutainment is a hell of a drug. Okay, yeah. So like, oh, is she also like? Does she also have like a garden over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like I guess the implications that she lives here by herself.
She lives off the grid.
It's like the old world equivalent of living in a trailer in the woods. Oh, but like.
Oh yeah, and here you gotta choose your waifu or husbando, which one you like better. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. I would have liked it if there was like side quests for each of the clans and like value points for doing each of them determined it, rather than just a random choice that doesn't really matter.
I think the only thing that it does is you get to choose which of the two Pokemon you catch first.
Yeah. That's all it does.
And if I don't remember, if I remember correctly, I think their boss fights are pretty similar. So it's not even like you get like a substantially different experience earlier or sooner or whatever.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like which design you like better, really.
And I like Dialga better than Palkia, so.
I mean, a choice like this, even if it's superficial, can still be a nice little bit of replay value. Like, maybe the outcome itself doesn't change all that much, but the character you pick is the one who sticks around, so you get to learn a little bit more about them. That can be fun.
I know that's basically what it's like in Final Fantasy VII, which I know mattered to a lot of people. Like, ultimately, the person you go on a date with doesn't change anything. Like, Garrus still dies. Cloud and Tifa still bang. It doesn't. But it's fun to find out that you can.
Oh, that scene. Oh yeah, the scene
under the scene on the high wind entirely depends on the relationship values with Tifa.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, it does change depending on what your relationship values with her are like. Yeah.
Oh, but do you have to have gone on the date with her in order for that to happen, or
that helps? But You just need to have a certain relationship value by that scene.
You can go on the date with her and royally screw up your chances by choosing all the worst
I
options.
really
on the
enjoyed
date.
this date with you, Arif. Anyway, I'm gonna go bang Tifa now.
Well, I mean, like, you can choose the worst options on the date and bork your relationship values that way. That's a thing.
Or you could go on a date with Barrett, I guess.
I've never gotten the date with Barrett.
Well,
Wow, fake Final Fantasy fan.
Look, the
here.
date with Barrett is specifically written to be that you couldn't get a girl, so you kind of suck scene. So you don't actually learn anything about Barrett in that scene worth a damn. So it's kind of a missed opportunity. I kind of hope they reimagine the date scenes in general in Remake, to be honest, because they could be much more interesting than they are. But they're just kind of
Let us go on a date with Kate Sith, you cowards.
well, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I'd rather get a vibrator on Amazon.
Look, no, that could be an interesting option, considering the point in the story that this takes place when Kate Sith is, on really shaky ground. It would make sense for Cloud to want to try and get a read on what's going on with Kate Sith.
But up to the point. No, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Okay, well,
so Kate Sith, what do you think our relationship is like?
Well, I mean,
where do you
look,
see us in 5 years?
They call it the date scene, but the only times it's actually contextualized as a date are when Tifa, Aerith, or Yuffie try to ask you on it. And even then, they're kind of vague about it being a date sometimes. Except Yuffie. Yuffie, ironically, is the most straightforward of the bunch.
No, that makes sense.
The punchline of her date scene is just that even if she's the character that you had the highest relationship values with at that point, she stands no chance. Because Cloud just isn't into her. And of course not. She's a teenager, he's an adult. Doesn't make any sense.
I'd never stopped a JRPG before. How old is Cloud an adult? I thought he was like 19.
Cloud's 21.
Cloud's like 21.
It never
He's
stopped a
21.
JRPG before because not very many JRPGs cast you as an adult. They'd rather you be a teenager because I think that's the demographic they need to relate to.
Yeah, hold on. How old is Yuffie?
What the shit is that?
Oh, she's like 16. Yeah, that's a little weird.
What is that?
It's Ribbon.
Oh.
I don't. Wait, what?
Oh yeah, this
I'm so
was
lost.
weird when the Pokemon started talking to you.
So yeah, I don't care for the not used at all, so I figured I'd edit in something funny for each of them.
Oh, it's telepathy. This was basically how Mewtwo talked in Pokemon first movie.
Yep.
It's doing that weird double spacing thing that Stephen King likes to do on Twitter every once in a while.
There's
don't
like
fucking
right
get it.
answers for this, right? You have to answer a right way.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the weird double spacing thing does give the text a feeling that it's supposed to sound ghostly.
It's just
He wasn't using it for ghostly tweets, though. I'm still on Stephen King, though. But
They just haven't done anything like this before, so it feels really weird. Versus other games like the one that comes to my mind immediately is Paper Mario, because I've been replaying that recently. But they do weird stuff with the typeface all the time, so it makes more sense. Versus here, it's been normal text the entire time, so this feels more jarring.
Yeah, I get that. The world's full of mysteries, I guess. You don't say. I mean, what did you expect to find in this freaking island ruin?
Oh,
we need to leave the cave first before.
Oh
we
yeah, that
backtravel
annoyed me. Yeah, you can't just warp.
out of the cave.
Yeah. Yeah, the three, what are they even called? Like, are they just called like the Lake Trio?
Like the Lake Trio, yeah.
Yeah. I think are probably the most boring, like, legendary group
I agree.
in the series. I mean, I guess if you want to, like, stretch it, I guess you could, like, I mean, okay, so I'm playing devil's advocate with myself here. It's not like the birds from Gen 1 or the dogs from Gen 2 are a particularly original idea. They're just like elemental animals. But I think their designs are way cooler, so there's that. Gen 5, the Three Musketeers are the best one. I don't care what anybody says. Or
The thing,
whatever.
the thing about the Gen 1 and Gen 2 legendaries is that they were fundamentally just mythical creatures in the traditional sense.
That was a thing I loved about Gen 1 is that you can go through the whole game without even knowing they're there.
Yeah, but like they're not much more out there than a unicorn would be, you know? They're just that world's equivalent to finding Bigfoot. The legendary Pokemon from Gen 3 onward all had to be much larger events.
Yeah, because like the Reggies in Gen 3 had this whole dumb side quest with them with the Braille stuff. Like I appreciate that they attempted to do more with the theming later on. Although I can't even for the life of me remember what the legends from Gen 6 even are.
Xerneas and Evital.
Well, no, the trio, like the lesser
the trio.
legendaries.
The weird thing about the legendaries in later generations is that by upping the scale, by making them much more important to the world in that fundamental sense, they've also made it a lot weirder for the protagonist to use them in competitive Pokemon battling. Like, it's just fucking strange, man, to save the world in Sword and Shield from Eternatus, the big glowy red eldritch energy thing, and then bust it out in the champion battle against Leon. And Leon's just like, oh, I get to battle Eternatus, huh? That's gonna be fun. And
he has
and
dialogue
like,
for that. I'm
Yes,
actually
he does, yeah.
I'm surprised.
It's neat. It's just a little line that he says if you happen to bring out Eternatus in that battle, because he knows what Eternatus is. He just watched you save the world from it, so it's kind of a flex. You save the world and capture this legendary Pokemon, and then you bring it out the next day in the championship battle.
Yeah, I'm looking. So Gen 6 doesn't even have like a trio like this at all. It's just like the Boxmon and then Zygarde, which they never did anything with ever. I think they were planning on making a Z version and then they just dropped it for Gen 3. Not Gen 3, Gen 6. I did like the legendary for each island in Gen 7. I thought that was neat. Gen 8. Yeah, I don't like any of the legendaries in Gen 8. Looking at all of them. Yeah, no, they're all weird. Not a fan. Yeah.
This is
That is Zoroark.
oh.
You do the same thing 3 times, basically. You talk to you go to the cave, you fight a Pokemon, you answer the Muse question, and then you leave.
I was just trying to place which Pokemon this was. Zoroark.
It's Hisui and Zoroark, yeah.
I think each one is a version of a local version of a older Pokemon. I do like this form for Zoroark, though. I think it. What type is it again? It's like Ghost. Or something?
Yeah, it's just Ghost.
Just Ghost? Okay.
Zoroark's one of those Pokemon with like a really complicated lore explanation for what it is, right?
Yeah, so Zoroark was sort of like almost legendary. In Black and White 1, you can only get it via an event. And what the weird thing about it was, it's an event that you can only access if you transfer Pokemon up from a separate event in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Where there were like shiny of the legendary dogs. And okay. And then the idea is, since it can shape change, it wants to be left alone, so it pretends to be other things to trick people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then I think in Black and White 2, they just made it a random encounter someplace.
I'm sorry. These edits would probably be funnier if I knew what the heck I was looking at. But
I recognize it. I know it's a magical girl mascot.
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh, okay.
What?
I have to say the number of eyes in a row.
Um.
It tested my knowledge.
Okay.
We did it.
So, back up a step. What did you say this was?
It's the mascot character from Cardcaptor Sakura.
Oh, you see, I thought it was maybe looking a little familiar to me, but what was the thing hiding behind it?
The legendary Pokemon.
Uxie,
Uxie, yeah.
Yuck, see that Pokemon? Are we going to get the next one next time?
Next part. Yep, next part.
Oh, wow. Look, oh, shit. We should have done
Look at
this
this.
30 seconds
Why
ago.
fucking you guys are suddenly in the giving the videos actual outros part of their careers now.
Oh, no. I no thanks.
It's like I'm proud of you.
I think the acting like we don't give a shit because we actually don't give a shit vibe we give off adds a certain level of
Charm?
scrappy charm to our channel. You know, the
that and fucking none of us can actually give a video an outro without sounding stilted as shit.
that also helps,
I mean, that's easy fix. You just write it down.
You expect us to follow
Just
a
write it down
script
and read it from a release.
when
all
we
you
can't
gotta
even
do.
follow a
It's easy.
strict, like a simple point of conversation without turning to like a Mrs. Butterscotch tangent.
Scrappy underdog BrainScratch commentary invokes the certain charm of the scrappy underdog, but are they really the scrappy underdog if they've been doing this for almost 15 years?
Listen, you don't suddenly become successful just because you've been doing something for a long time. If that's the case, everybody would be able to retire.